Forge Gateway and then just another pylon, and that's a 1U space out.
Yeah.
If you for instance like go Nexus first and then you go Forge and you go immediately Gateway before you make a cannon, then your tech is potentially the fastest that it could be off of an FFE, because you got your Gateway. The Gateway is the limiting factor to get the Cyber Core. The Cyber Core is the limiting factor to get Warp Gate, or to get a Stargate, or to get any other tech you might desire. And what we saw out of Boyo was he went Forge, 2 cannons, Gateway, then Cyber Core. His Cyber Core didn't even get started until about the 5-minute and 30-second mark. That is so late.
It's very late, but and also I have to note, Snute did something that is very good. It's essentially what every Zerg should do: send a couple of Speedlings on attack move all over the map, because that is the key. If you watch Stefano play, like he's just not going to let a proxy pylon get down. It's not going to happen. So often he's on that, and I love this. So active right now on the map with this Ling. Snute really wants to take this game off Boyo.
Oh yeah, I mean, he knows he is facing elimination. Boyo did take that first game, so he has to make it happen. Let's take a look just at some drone counts really quick. Nearing up on the 8-minute mark, we do have 53 drones out. The 44 probes, now 55 drones. So just continued drones coming out of Snute. Would love to see him, get up to that really high number, that kind of 70 number, 75, and then just kind of make nothing but units. Because if your Protoss opponent, if you make nothing but units and Protoss tries to take a pretty fast third, which, I mean, we might see out of Boyo. Looks kind of like that's where his probe is headed. Yeah, I mean, you can just kill it off and pretty much win the game. And there is that third base.
Yeah, for sure. You are starting to see players like Sase experiment a little bit more with 2 gateways first, and after Forge Fast Expand. And we'll hold that thought as we see Lings are going to get us around on these Zealots. Zealots doing very well against the Lings, and reinforcements coming out to meet here outside the natural of Snute.
Yeah, those
more Lings here.
Zealots, of course. And the sentry does go down. But yeah, the Lings, of course, are going to get 2-shot by the Zealots, because the Zealots do have the +1 attack. The Lings have +1 attack as well, which is pretty good. But Boyo should be able to hold this sort of aggression off just fine.
Go bouncing into the third now. So well aware that Boyo is going to try to secure that. And this is where, again, Snute has to pick his engagements properly, because he does not want to throw too much away. And I believe he has opted to go for Banelings. So
yeah, this is, I mean, he's getting drops. He's getting Overlord speed. He just made a ton of Lings. And I mean, Baneling drops are kind of a style that it like went out of fashion, I guess. Like it was like really popular for a while. It was like, oh, I'm gonna get Banelings, do Baneling drops, and then I'm gonna get Infestors and Ultralisks and all that good stuff. And then it just kind of like disappeared off the map. So it's really great to see players coming back into that. But huge Ling run by, headed straight for the natural. And he gets the pylon down just in time. But he doesn't even care. He's just gonna run these Lings around, pick off this cannon. Bunch of probes going down, and these Lings should just be able to hightail it out. And there they go.
Blink about 3/4 of the way finished now, but if you look at the minimap, reinforcements streaming across the map. And again, Snute, though, I think very wisely opting to go ahead and retreat back just for a moment to pause. And while he does so, though, you can bet that Boyo is going to take this opportunity to start more upgrades, as he does. Ground armor level 2 on the way. Blink about to finish, adding a couple of gateways as well.
Tumba.
And this is where Boyo gets
Tumba.
scary. Yes, sir.
There are 20 Banelings morphing.
I see that in the production. Yeah, I saw that. Unit counting station says 20 have already completed. And
that is so many Banelings, Tumba.
Here they come, buddy. Here they come into the main.
This could be huge. I mean, if he kills off all of these probes, that really limits the aggressive potential of Epidemic. He pulls the probes, though. He sees it coming, and he's dropping the Lings anyway, but he wants those Banelings, of course, to land on the army or on the probes of his opponent. Here he comes toward the natural expansion. So many probes clumped up. Banelings coming down on everything. That was a slaughter.
That was pretty sexy, as stated. So down to 53 supply. I feel like we're going to go to a game 3 after that.
And I mean, these Lings in the main gonna pick off that Nexus. The GG out of Boyo. What an insane drop right there. He did so much damage. He killed 40 workers right there.
That's a lot. That's a lot of workers.
Wow. That was intense, guys. I am so excited for game 3. I mean, we saw epic holds out of Boyo in game 1, and then Snute with like the biggest load up and Baneling drop ever.
That was like a daisy cutter. That just went the length of the mineral line and devastation.
I mean, if anything,
like, if you're Boyo, you're like, okay, things are going good. Getting my third up. Feel really. Wait a second. Why are there so many overload? Oh boy. And then, you know, it's where you just put your head down and like.
Yeah, I mean, it's like head desk, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So but great, though. Great strategy there out of Snute. I love it. It's also going to force this to an ace match, rather, so I'm super excited about that.
Yep, and so guys, we're going to go to just a short commercial break, and then we will be jumping into, of course, the next game between Snute and between Boyo. Boyo, that last game, he had the epidemic brought to him. And with that, guys, we're going to go to a short commercial break. Alright guys, this is Gwyn. I am back. With me, of course, is the one, the only, the Tumba StarCraft. And Tumba, oh man, we've got a game 3 coming up between these two players. I am so pumped for this game. It's going to be on Daybreak, my favorite map.
A lot of people's, actually.
Oh yeah.
Except maybe me.
Real? Why don't you like Daybreak, man?
I just get unlucky. I think it's... Like I saw it, you know, I thought I was really going to enjoy it initially, and just you ever have like an unlucky map where there's no particular reason, but you're like, I just can't pinpoint. I just got to go to a leak finder and find out exactly what's going on with this map and me. But
I think my unlucky map is actually Shattered Temple. So I know how it is. I do know how that goes.
I think everybody does. I think everybody's got that map they don't like. But man, I am excited for this ace match. I can't wait.
Me either. So we're going to have to see what our players decide to do on this next game. Are you ready to start with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, counting down then in 3, 2, and 1. And switching over so everyone on the stream can see, of course, in the red, playing for Team Epidemic, we do have Boyo. And in the blue, our Zerg player, Snute, taking that last game with an amazing drop of lots of banelings. We do have Snute from Gamers, what was it, Gamers League?
Yes, the Gamers League, I believe.
All right. I am trying to switch. There we go. We got the colors for that overlay all done. These guys are tied up 1-1. We are going to be jumping into this third game on Daybreak. So, why is Daybreak an unlucky map for you? I gotta know.
Yeah, I wish I knew. That's the thing. I need to go to a league finder, find out exactly what's going on here. It's not entirely sure. I just feel like my games get really scrappy, and over the long haul, I can't really continue to. My games toward mid game are fine. Getting into late game, I just fall apart. So that could be
So the distance between the bases is too big to easily defend all over the place. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's a big part of it too. Although I watched studied Sase a lot on this map, and he gets scrappy too as well. But probe right now of Boyo going to get in here. Of course, going to notice at the moment there is nothing to fear.
Yep, he's actually gonna block the spawning pool a couple times here, pretty successfully. So a little bit of nice harassment already out of Boyo. He does have that pylon on the low ground, so we should be seeing that forge fast expand once again out of him. It's gonna be a 16 forge, so a little bit later than your average Protoss bear. Actually, no, this might be Nexus first. Wow, look at that, and it is 16 Nexus.
Yeah, that's very bold play.
Yeah,
actually here, out of Boyo. So a lot of players choosing lately to open up much safer, frankly, and in across the board as well. That's for all races, really.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but at the same time, I mean, he scouted so early. He knew there was no
he knew there was no threat, right?
And so I think that it's one of those things, and I'm not sure actually who comes out ahead. Whether it's worth it to lose the mining time sending the super early probe or getting that Nexus first off. Maybe one to do the math on someday.
For sure. And I think what's even more important and critical than your first scout as Protoss is the follow-up scout. Because that's one of the things that a lot of Protoss tend to neglect, some way to try to get a couple zealots to a third to try to harass. Remember, it used to be early 2011, go straight for Stargate, get a Void Ray, deny the third.
Yep.
But, Zerg are just, frankly, they're onto that. And they're very prepared for when they go for that third, get a good creep spread, extra queens out, go for 4 queens, and just can defend very nicely against that. So how we've changed since then. But I'm interested, man. I want to see, after getting Bailing bombed like that, what Boyo wants to do.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit curious as to this out of Snute as well. Now, he's mining gas, and he is not taking a super fast third. We're at 25 food. He can definitely afford it. But yeah, I mean, I think we might see some big 2-base aggression out of him, given that he's not taking a third. He's still mining gas, and he started Zergling speed. Yeah, I think this might be some big 2-base aggression, or this might be like 2-base muta. But I mean, at this point,
well, to be honest with you, Gwin, I love the decision, frankly, because Boyo is lax early game in preparing really for any type of huge aggression. We've seen it time and time again. Even in the last game, how late was his Psycore?
It was so late. But this game, he actually went for Forge, Gateway, Cannon, and then Cybercore. So his Cybercore was way earlier. This game, I mean, it's finished and it's already researching Warp Gate. And last game, it didn't even get started until 5:30.
The only thing really to take a look at here, though, is if there is going to be 2-base aggression with roaches, there's a point where Protoss has to make the decision, and it's a decision I see Naniwa make so very well. How many cannons am I going to add? Yeah. Because that's really what you're going to have to do in the Forge Fast Expand situation. A lot of times, if the Zerg is going to come with the heat.
Yeah, I mean, definitely roaches are so strong early in that game. He's already starting to stockpile lings. Speed has just finished up. 10 more lings on the way, as well as 8 roaches now. Boyo does have this probe down here, but the probe is out of range to see this all moving through. So, I mean, if Boyo moves in, he actually... Oh,